All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people, just like you and just like me. Kiss, the band, continues to make headlines, or as I like to call them, dreadlines. Um, when I read stories about Kiss, it's always about Paul and Gene taking control of the brand, shutting out Peter and Ace from the stuff that happened back in the early days. This new documentary that Kiss has out there. Apparently, Ace and Peter were offered more exposure in the documentary, but those guys protested because they didn't like the way the doc was being edited. And can you blame Ace Frehley for wanting some control? I mean, he is a household brand himself, more so probably than Peter Criss, but certainly that original band is what got everybody involved with Kiss. All right. If you liked Kiss, you had the lunchbox, you had the poster, you had whatever it was in those days. Um, all of these guys were basically marketing geniuses. And yes, obviously, Gene is a smart man. Paul might be a smart man. I don't know. These guys seem very authoritarian, not only in their business dealings, but also just in general. When you see them on social media, they've got very strong and very interesting opinions about, I don't know, health and wellness issues and politics. And it's just weird to me. It's just weird. This isn't your area of expertise, but yet you continue to opine as though you have, a law degree or, you went to medical school, whatever it is. It's just kind of bizarre. Um, and really, the more you hear these guys talk, you realize that Kiss was never about rebellion, even though as a kid, you probably thought, hey, I'm going to rock and roll and party all the time, because Kiss says it's okay. Nowadays, that would be rock and roll and party some of the time, and be careful. Make sure you ingest this substance, and make sure you vote for this candidate, which again doesn't really sound like all that much rebellion to me. But there is another side to this story, other than Gene saying, Peter and Ace continue to make really bad choices. Last September, Ace Frehley was on with Eddie Trunk. And look, Eddie Trunk is kind of in my camp on this one when it comes to Kiss to some degree. I think he's got differing opinions, but I think he was one of the first guys to come out to say that he didn't think Kiss was actually performing their music live, that there were either backing vocal tracks or backing music tracks. Most likely they're vocal tracks. But anyway, Ace Frehley was on last September, and Ace said, well, they offered me a small fee to be involved with it, meaning the documentary, and I turned them down. I thought the fee was embarrassing because I know how much money they're going to make on it. So either they share the wealth or c'est la vie. So I decided not to be involved, but they have plenty of old footage of me, and they'll probably use that and get by, but it won't be the same as if they get current footage. Unfortunately, I decided the money that they offered me wasn't anywhere near what I felt I deserved, so I turned it down. The footage you're going to see of me in this documentary is only going to be old footage. So, in other words, no new interviews with Ace or Peter. And I think that just it makes the documentary less credible. When Chicago did their documentary, obviously Peter Cetera wasn't in it, which I think would have been fascinating if you had Peter's point of view, even if it went hard against what the other guys were saying, because then people tell you what, you would you would have more eyeballs on that documentary with Peter Cetera in it, and especially if you gave him a huge chunk of money and said, say what you want to say. I mean, there's enough water under the bridge. The same could be said for both Ace and Peter, but Gene and Paul, this is their thing, man. This is their baby, and they're gonna regulate what gets put out there. They're creating their own narrative, and I hate when bands do this. Just tell the truth about what happened and get everybody on record and stop saying, well, they make bad choices. They're still making bad choices. They made bad choices because they wanted to be a part of the documentary, but they wanted to put some new footage in there, or maybe have a say in the old footage that's being used. But in any event, if you're a Kiss fan, I get it. It was cool back in the day. Honestly, it's not so cool anymore. It just isn't. And I'm hoping, I'm actually waiting for the day when Gene and Paul aren't even involved in this anymore, although I'm sure they'll oversee everything that happens in the future with the new band that emerges to take their places. And I'm hoping the new band can actually sing and play their instruments. That would be pretty cool.